Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Kakadash. The bonus apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. Hey, just real quick, it's a blessing to make it through the Passover, to make it through that period, but we're not necessarily safe until we make it to the kingdom. We still got a lot of stuff to go through. And, now that it's the wintertime, which it's crazy, how, people talk about the Bible's fake. Everything we're doing is fake. The Hebrew Israelites are fake. But it's been very cool up until the point of around this time in the Passover, which the scriptures tell you is the 14th day of the second week. And, the Passover, that's around the time that the seasons change. And what's going on? I mean, you probably can't see it, but the seasons are changing. Everything is warming up. You can start coming to work without your jacket or whatever. Or maybe you bring it, you leave it in the car. But, hey, the scriptures, man, you can't disprove it. They dictate the seasons. The scripture tells you measure the times diligently. And that's one thing that Esau, the devil, is doing. They're starting to measure the time. They're starting to measure how far that they've gone. They're starting to, which they, they've been doing that. They've been doing that. They've been keeping those abominable customs that they're into. But, you got Esau. Basically, Esau done shot everything up. They done shot up the high school. They shot up the middle school. They done shot up the concert. They done shot up the Christian church. They done shot up the mosque. They done shot up the synagogue. And so they shot up every fucking thing. And still to this day, the president does not want to, he don't want to put out any terrorist watch for any white supremacist groups, because so many people that he's involved with and the people that he's involved with, they're involved with, they're part of that. They're part of this system of so-called Edomite supremacy. It was, red Hebrew Edomites. And it's just interesting because to this day, they've probably done the most out of any of these so-called groups, radical groups. They've done the most. They've had the most bloodshed. They've committed the most criminal acts and done the most criminal activity. And still to this day, they're not on any of the watch lists. So, this man has to go down, and every little branch, because that's all the branch off of his society, has to go down. And the bitterness of this place is starting to set in. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump into this video, and I'm going to jump into the scriptures, because these Edomites think this is sweet. They thought they could fuck us over and take this place and everything was going to be good. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua has another plan for him. Yeah, watch this stupid ass ad.
No way.
A large American factory stopped production today after more than half a century. 1,600 workers at the General Motors plant in Lordstown, Ohio are affected by this. Dean Reynolds met one man on his last shift there in tonight's Eye on America.
I was hoping that it didn't come to this. Yeah, the last drive-in was kind of bittersweet. I mean, what do you do from here? This may be the last time I pull up and park in the spot.
Aaron Applegate has worked at the GM plant for 11 years. Today was his last shift.
A little worried.
A little worried?
A lot worried.
In GM speak, Lordstown has been unallocated, meaning the Chevy Cruze that rolls off the line this week is the last car they're making here. The last of 16 million vehicles since it opened in 1966, and it's the largest of the 4 plants in the U.S. where GM plans to stop production this year. More than 3,300 hourly workers will be laid off indefinitely. That's 7% of GM's approximately 50,000 hourly employees nationwide.
7%. They just laid off 7% of their workforce. just so they can do what? So they can move the operation over to China. They could pay those people peanuts and they could still make money. And these Edomites, you know, it's so interesting. They've invested on this system. They've benefited off of it. They benefited from so-called white privilege, which, you know, it's a privilege of them being in rulership. And they thought that they could lean on that shit forever, and they can't. So let's jump into the scriptures. These Edomites, they thought shit was sweet. They thought everything was cool. And it says what? Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And you know, this place, we all know the history about it. It was a straight up takeover. You know, like the song goes, it's a takeover. Nigga, the break's over. Hey, the break is over for these Edomites. They had to take over. They built the empire. They built the empire. Now look at it. It's fucking crumbling. They gotta actually make little programs for their children talking about it's okay to be white. It's okay. Oh, it's not a problem. Oh, everybody come together. That's the thing, man, and people are starting to wake up to that. That's why it says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, because that's what they did. They called what they did good. They called it discovery. They tried to call us savage when we have a long history on this planet, thousands of years, which was skipped over in all of their history. And not just us, the other nations too, but most importantly us, the Israelites. And what did they do? They called that good. You know, they brought the pedophile priests over. You know, they beat the shit out of us until we became Catholics and Christians, and they called that good. Then it was found out what those damn priests are a bunch of perverts, they're a bunch of false teachers first and foremost, a bunch of child molesters. So you know, it's wide scale. It's wide scale. It's all through their system. Things that they call good, which are evil. and the biggest one, the biggest fucking roadblock has been this shit where women are over men. And now that shit is crumbling too with this Me Too shit. And, you know, they're trying to push, you know, so-called Israelite woman, first and foremost, a damn black woman. They're trying to push her to be the front runner of equality and let's all get together and kumbaya and all that bullshit. But it ain't no kumbaya. It's never been kumbaya. It's never been that since we got here. And once again, man, these Edomites, they're really trying to pander to us to fucking vote for them. They're trying to pander to us to maybe they can give us some reparations. They're trying to pander to us to stop teaching the Bible. And because teaching the scriptures, that's really what it is, man. It's been being brought out since the 60s, you know, since our elders, Abba Bivens and Ariah and all these men, the word is being brought out, and it's not brought out void like the scriptures say. And now we bring out Deuteronomy 28 a lot because those are the punishments that are listed to the Israelites. Well, let's see the punishments let's see what's happened. Let's see what happens when we turn back to our power. Deuteronomy 30:1. It shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy power, you know, Yahweh Shem Shah hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy power, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and thy soul. And then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. That's right, and that's always what happens. That's what happens in the time of Yahweh Shai. The Gentiles return to us. Those Israelites which are scattered amongst the nations that were taken into captivity and or under those different idols and things. And then us here in America, we're under the captivity of this state. That's why the name of the Lord is so important. Calling on that name is so important, because the Lord is going to return us. First, He's going to return us to that spiritual state. He's going to return us being that temple for Him. And we go out, we represent the temple, and we have Gentiles who come up across around in the streets, and they receive the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And you can destroy, something can happen to one of us or a few of us or whatever, but guess what? The word is going to continue to come out, and people are going to see that, and people do see that. People are already coming up. When it was cold, nobody's unless the Lord gives you that passion. They don't have that passion. We've been out in the cold and the heat, and back in the cold, back to the heat. Now it's back time for the heat again. So Jake is going to come out and act the fool. And we're going to be that temple right there. And it's something interesting when people walk by the camp. They'll be talking. They might be talking loud or playing music. They'll get quiet. They'll stop playing the music. Because they in their spirit, they see and they understand through the Heavenly Father, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that we're coming back to who we are, and that we're representing our people, and that we're becoming those men who stood so stiffly for the word, excuse me. Because this place, man, another thing brothers have been saying is, look, these 2/3, they don't have the same mentality, and they don't. 2/3 of Israel, they don't have the winner's mentality. For them, everything is a grab. This is the Bible. Us doing these videos, for them, it's a small information grab. Then they go right back to Esau's capitalism, and it does not prosper them anything. But what? This place was created to be a prison for us. This ain't a place created for us to thrive and to conquer. The Lord allowed us to do that in certain of the empires, but eventually those curses came right back. Now this is dealing with olives, dealing with raw olives. Let me see. Yep, it says, because with the olives you have to put it in a brine, you have to put it in a lye solution or a brine or something to knock off the bitterness. So you have to soak it in salt water, and that's what they do. They soak the olives, and then when you get it, it's in some kind of brine or something, because you cannot eat it raw. And that raw olive is called, that leftover paste from when they squeezed it to make that olive oil is called Amurca. Amurca, and they knew it was bitter. And that's the place with this place, the Amerigo. I think the word after that is America. So America, all of that means bitterness. This is a place of bitterness, and it's going to continue to get bitter and get more bitter, not just for 2/3 of our nation, but for us, the men of the Lord, and for Esau too, because they trusted in oppression and they trusted in wicked acts, and they turned the things of evil into the things of good. Okay, they celebrated, they made a mockery of us, and they still do to this day. And you can look and you can see these Edomites.
Great townhouse. But you gotta see the neighborhood. We got a dive bar, sushi bar.
Salaki, especially these Edomites who received the short end of the stick, like this guy. He's stressing out because the fucking plant closed down. You a fucking worker. You a worker for your own brothers, and you couldn't even get on in your own nation, which you stole, but you couldn't even get on. And look at that. One of his kids is retarded.
Parts of me are very bitter. What makes you bitter is the fact
He's bitter.
they're making profit.
That's that Amurca,
year after year
that
now,
bitterness.
and we're not seeing that back. It's not as simple as a number.
But GM employees are a number because they don't care. I mean, you're replaceable.
GM is offering some workers transfers to other plants, and Applegate can apply, but it's complicated. His children include 13-year-old Austin, who has cerebral palsy, needs special care, and is slated for spinal surgery at the end of the month.
Yeah, so he's fucked. He's fucked. And these Edomites, they're continuing to slip. That's why they're getting into opioids and all this other shit. These Edomites are fucked. This place is fucked. They're gonna continue to be fucked. They trusted in the oppression. They trusted in uncertain riches. They trusted in theft. Look at that. That's the last car to come off the lot in that plant. Matter of fact, I've been to that location before. Hey, that shit is done. That shit is shutting down. These people have opted for cheaper labor, and they've given up on the strength of the nation of America. And that's why another reason why it's falling apart. But with that being said, man, hopefully it was edifying. These Edomites are through. We're going to continue to cast this place down spiritually and call Hello Yahweh Shem Yahushua Shalom.
Living here, the friends, the neighbors, a community that I can call whenever anything goes on with that little boy, and they're here. And it is amazing, and I don't want to leave it.
Yep. Shalom.